Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Season 12, Episode 17. Happy June. Happy Pride Month. I'm not Felicia Minor again. She should be here. Don't know where she is, but I am Freddy Prinze Charming. And I am thrilled to be here with you. And as you can see, I am thriving this evening. If you're watching this and I'm not on your Facebook and you're going, what the actual fuck is happening with his face? I promise there's a reason. It's a whole thing. Justin Sider created this look on the back of my head earlier this week, and I decided that I was going to recreate it on the front of my head. So that's where we're at. But I am representing Pride because there is, in fact, a little trans flag thing happening here, which was, in fact, on the back of my head as well. It's a thing.
I see.
It's a thing. It is a thing.
Great. The best you've ever
Thank
loved.
you. I can bring up the picture on Facebook so you can see the side by side.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
All right, let me find it. You go ahead and do the housekeeping stuff.
Well, happy June, happy Pride Month. Welcome to another episode of Let's Have a Fefe, where I don't know what's going on. Can you believe it? We are at episode 17 of season 12, and with more than 15,000 podcast views. This is your Wednesday night conversation. And I am Felicia Fefe Minor.
There you go.
You are something.
That was on the back of my head. I think it originally started out as Voldemort. And then it kind of went sideways. I'm not sure what it ended up, but this gentleman...
You did a pretty good job.
Thank you. It's the attention to detail. So... Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Oh, the one with the glasses. I did see that. Where's the one with the glasses?
Oh, I'll pull that one up. Hang on. And you keep going with the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you can get exclusive content from us, and this is beyond our scope of work at the moment. #thriving. You can go to patreon.com/letshaveafefe and get exclusive content. Like maybe we would have talked about this story over there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if this is getting better or getting worse.
That was before the trans flag was added.
And the thriving.
Yeah. This was done, and then it was, wait. I'm going to do more.
Is this the work of someone we mutually know?
This was Justin Sider.
I had a feeling.
Make sure that you hire Justin for all of your face painting needs. They do like farmers markets and all sorts of things.
Seeing a trend here.
You too can look like this on the back of your head if you wish.
I mean, I would, but I live on the other side of the valley. And by the time I get there, especially with this heat, I will have sweated it. You be careful.
And birthday parties.
I'm turning 40 this year. Maybe I should do
this. Could be at your birthday party.
No offense, Justin, but
in fact, I could be at your birthday party just like this. As a walking advertisement for Justin's talent.
Oh, look at my birthday already filled up. Wow. We like to thank our patrons, um, Brandon, Chris, and Michelle, Dee, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. So the couples on that list that share an account, y'all need to tell your partners when we post stuff. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm like asked, like, "Oh yeah, have you posted anything?" I'm like, I can tell it's in the other partner's email,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they're not sharing. So, a huge shout out to Wigs of a Kind for supporting us this season. Uh, this blue,
I was gonna wear a wig, but it would have messed up
I wore one for you.
the whole
That's,
look
I think,
because it
what
needed to.
happened. Um, uh-huh. Hmm. Okay. Try in person. I'm scared. Oh.
I look delightful. I am the walking Mona Lisa.
Was that a play on her name? Delightful. Anyway,
Uh,
anyhow, a massive thank you to Guido Martin and Laura Renfro for being amazing supporters this season. You all rock, and many of you could rock too, and join them and help us out by going to paypal.me/let's have a Fifi. Just kidding. It's not that long. And I failed to do this week, but happy Pride. Um, you can text LHAF to 602-730-7379. Maybe that should be my next update, is sending people a picture of you.
there's a whole story behind the hashtag thriving. I'll talk about it
Okay.
after the show. There's a whole thing.
Oh, on the Patreons? On the
Mm,
Patreons?
mm,
Hmm. Well,
mm.
we got a whole thing going on Patreon. So, not to give it away, but we got a whole thing going on Patreon that we have been hashtag thriving on week after week. So if you're not on there, you're kind of missing part of our story.
And
Uh, and we talk about additional stuff that, like, maybe we expand on certain topics. Maybe we don't want everyone to hear us talk
mm,
about. Mm.
mm, hmm You
Yeah.
got to get behind that paywall, you know.
If you're watching on Facebook, we appreciate you, and we would love for you to click that star button on the screen. It's another way to support us, and then we earn some pennies, dollars, cash from Facebook. Sometimes. Sometimes. Sometimes people press the button, and I'm like, wow, 50 cents. Wow.
I'll
But
take
it
it.
adds up. It adds up, I promise. So, how was your weekend?
I
Hashtag
I don't
thriving.
think I don't think I really did anything. Like
I
I feel
wouldn't
like I'm still kind
expect
of
you to.
recovering, like from fan fusion, which it's weird because it's like I was really like I was only busy for like it was 3 days. Like, and granted, it's busy, but even in those 3 days, it was only like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. But right, like now being busy like that requires so much recovery time for me. Like it's rough. Like
I don't want to
I
say
think
it, but you have the OLD.
yes, well, part of it is getting older for sure. My body definitely can't hang like it used to. Like it can hang in the moment, and then afterwards, it's like, oh fuck you. Um, so
Mm.
there's that, but it's also the like I always need a little bit of recovery time anyway because I'm an introvert. Like I guess I'm kind of an ambivert, but I'm definitely more of an introvert. And
Mhm.
when I people that hard, consecutive days, it's like my body needs to kind of recharge my
Adjust.
battery, and it is
Yeah.
not a fast charger. Like it is not a fast charger. It is a charger that is probably like a USB one, like the OG USB that like takes
Oh,
forever. Like that's where my like charging capacity is
you have
these
a V8,
days.
a VGA cable that's attached
Right.
somewhere and it's flapping out there. And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't even know what to do with that cord.
Right. It's like a 4 pin like USB. Like it's just
Oh
it's
shit.
yeah.
Oh shit.
It's it can be rough. And that's
I
not to say
feel
I don't
that so
enjoy
much.
doing stuff like that because I love going to cons. I love being involved. I love doing all the things, but it just takes me a little bit longer to kind of get back into the swing of things. And I'm grateful that work has been slow this week, um, because that's been like I know it's not going to
Your
stay
saving
slow.
grace.
Like I'm watching the dashboard and I'm like, so I know it's not going to stay slow, but I'm glad that it was slow this week because I needed that kind of extra time to get my brain kind of back in gear. So, but
Oh
yeah,
boy.
there's that. How was your weekend?
Let's see. Saturday, I recorded with Sassy, um, now SD Demornay. We'll talk about it later. Um, he always gives me this look. Um, the Juneteenth edition of Drag Story Hour, which was virtual. We did that quite well. And in the process, I posted something on Patreon because I always do this to myself, and I don't know why, but I like to. It's because Freddy created a monster, and I'm like, well, we'll talk about it on Patreon. But I ordered stones, almost ordered the wrong stone. Anyway, but so now I've started on this one outfit. You may have seen it maybe now on Facebook, but I posted on Patreon first that I was starting this dress, and I was like, "Oh, what am I thinking? Like, why are you so ambitious?" Like, and I have a feeling it's going to be like this, where I just stay up late every night until it's almost done, kind of thing. Because yeah, what I feel like is I feel like I'm getting better at stoning.
Well, that's
Uh,
good. After a decade, I
where
would hope so.
Oh, well, I stopped for a while, and then somebody harassed me and basically told me that I need to up my game, and I was like,
Hmm.
God, I love wearing my dresses from Ross and
You're
right off
welcome.
the rack and shaking them out and being on stage. Nothing wrong with that, but somebody, somebody. It's legal now to wear a cross dress for less at the shows. Is it legal now?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
means stoning.
Oh.
Wrong kind of stoning.
Oh, well,
Also,
I'm the
D,
one.
every time you're replying to Ben every single time you comment. Just FYI.
Yes.
Every single time
You're
you comment, you're
stuck in
replying
a
to
you're
you're
stuck in a pattern
you're stuck in a
here.
loop. Stop replying to Ben.
I'm sure Ben appreciates your, company
The
in the chat.
interaction, yes, but now I don't know what is happening because everything is replying to Ben Havoc.
Yeah, I'm like, "What?" Uh,
Yeah. No.
you got
We
stuck.
appreciate the
Uh,
engagement.
yeah, you make us look good. And then Sunday, we just kinda, laid around. Um, I'm kinda getting better at the family calendar-ish. Ugh.
Hmm.
Um There's some work to be done. But my calendars and then like my and then it just sometimes is one calendar looks like this.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh God. I will tell you that I had a mental health appointment this week and I
Oh,
got
that's good.
prescribed a vacation.
Oh, that's great. When is that going to happen?
I have no idea. If anybody
Mm.
would like to support us on Patreon
Right.
and or PayPal, go ahead and fund a vacation for me. So
I would like one as
there's
well.
that.
Also, thank you.
There's that. Maybe specify funds on who they're going to, because I would say he's a little more picky than I am. I could just
Yeah.
go hide away somewhere.
I mean, I'd like to go on a vacation somewhere that I actually want to go. Like,
I mean,
that's
like Fiji sounds fun.
I could do Fiji.
Tahiti.
Yeah, it's been a
I
while. I
don't,
haven't been to either of those in like almost 40 years, so I'll
I've
take it.
never been. So you could be my tour guide, and I'll get the vacation that I've been prescribed.
Okay, that sounds good. Speaking of vacations, that seems like a good segue into my tip.
Shut
So,
up.
we've talked about in the past how learning to say no is one of the hardest lessons a performer can learn.
No.
And I feel like it's worth revisiting, especially during Pride Month when so many folks are so busy. I am not one of those people because I don't get booked in this town, but a lot of
Oh,
people are. So, yes. Are you busy
I
this
was just
month?
saying that I am,
Mm.
but
Um Burnout is a thing. Like, I think people, like, they don't necessarily think that, oh, you can't get burnt out on drag. Like, no, yes, you absolutely fucking can. And you may not think that, taking 5 or 6 gigs a week or whatever it is affecting your performances, but I promise you that it is. And
how
the
were we
audience can
doing
see
that back
it,
in the day?
producers
Yes.
can see it, like, we can all see it. The
Mm-hmm.
more you take on, the more tired you get, the less energy you're able to give to your performances, and the higher the likelihood is that you're going to cancel, because you might be able to do maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks of like constant performing. By week 3, you're either going to get sick or you're going to be so damn tired that you're just exhausted and you can't do it. So then you end up canceling a whole bunch of shit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not okay. Like, it's okay to be picky about your gigs. You don't have to say yes to everything.
Yes.
Like, I have seen people post their June schedules, and it is literally like shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday, and I'm like, you're stupid. Like, flat
So
out,
what
I'm
do
like,
you?
you're fucking dumb.
So I feel like some people in particular make their living off of our artistry. So is that too much, or is that them just chasing the opportunity?
I mean, if you think about it, it's still a lot. And it's like, if you have like a 40-hour a week desk job, it's a little bit different because, you're sitting there and it's 40 hours a week. You're sitting at a desk. But trying
That
to,
too can be taxing.
still do drag every single night, sometimes multiple shows a day, multiple shows a night, and you're trying to do that consistently, like, it still shows. That's when you end up doing the same performances all month, because that's all you've had time to do. That's all you've had time to learn. Those are the only costumes that you have. So,
Are you
like,
coming for
all
me?
right. So, like, you know, if you're gonna do it, then do it right or don't do it at all. Because if you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, no, I'm going to go ahead and take on all of these gigs, but I don't have time, like, especially during Pride Month, right? And everybody wants to do like pride shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to take on all this stuff and you're like, okay, but I don't have time to do any new costuming, and I don't have time to like come up with any new mixes. So I'm just going to keep doing the same stuff that I've been doing over and
Mm.
over and over again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not, it's like you're shortchanging the audience, especially since basically every show now charges a cover. And if I'm going to pay a cover and I'm going to see, you do the same shit that you did last week 3 times in a row, like in a week, like, I'm no, no, thank you. Like, it's not, and a lot of shows now are shows that require some sort of collaboration. A lot of shows are doing like, either opening numbers or
Productions.
closing numbers or group numbers or something. Like a lot of shows have that to kind of add an extra, oomph, whatever. And you need to be prepared to hold up to uphold your commitments, because if you don't, you're gonna fuck everybody else up. Saying yes to something and then not showing up lets everyone down and puts people in a position to have to work around your absence. And that's a problem.
Mm.
Especially, if it's one of these shows where, you have to work on blocking it, you have to work on whatever it is. Like those things can't be done when people are missing. And it's inconsiderate and unprofessional. Like I would rather you tell me no right off the
No.
bat than say yes and then cancel and leave people to either scramble to try and fill your spot or try to work around you. And that happens. Like how many times I've seen people like, hey, we have an opening for, tonight, somebody bailed, or, someone's not
Oh,
going to
I'm
show up,
usually
or
the girl
whatever it
that gets
is. Like,
called in for that. Um,
like it's
it's
rude as fuck, and it's
also to the
not a good
for
look.
me,
Like,
it's a little frustrating. When I used to do like produce shows, it was a little frustrating because it would be like 6 o'clock, and the call time is 6:30,
right,
and then I get a text. Oh, girl, I can't be there. Okay, so now I'm stuck running a show that doesn't have a person, and depending on what I set up for the show, you may be doing a double maybe once. And if I have allotted that time for like somebody to change because they
right.
need the time,
It
now I
it
have to stand out
fucks
there.
people up.
Now I have to stand out there and talk and fill the space or do an additional performance, which is not bad. But
But you might
like
not have brought extra things. You might not have brought extra stuff. And then you have to pull something out of your ass, which is not going to be awesome. Or
hmm
somebody else has to pull something out of their ass. And it's like, this, that's not the way to, and like I said, it's not just professionalism, it's common courtesy. And
hmm
that seems to be lacking, particularly in this community. I've seen people are, they're like, well, I'm not going to do this gig, but I'm going to do this gig over here because of whatever reason, but I'm just not going to show up for this one, or I'm not going to communicate or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so, and then not even apologize for
Nope.
bailing or not
Just keep ticking
communicating. Like it's
and still
rude and
being booked.
unprofessional. Right. But you have to keep in mind though that, if you have a habit of canceling last minute or not communicating, or, no call, no showing, whatever, that can make a difference on whether you get booked in the future. And if it starts to be a habit, you may find yourself permanently out of a gig, because I've seen it happen. We've all seen it happen. Like where, you know, people are, they fucked up in the past on a specific show, and then, it's like, oh, we're not going to book them. And then it's like, okay, well, let's give them a second chance, bring them back, and they do exactly the same shit. Like, that's not,
Okay.
no. Like, that's
Mhm.
not, no.
And D
And
says it extends to partners and such who now have to talk a partner through and change plans.
hmm
Boy, have I been there. But I understand like being called into work. I understand uh, maybe you weren't expecting something. Maybe you got a flat tire and you live in BFE, so you're not going to be there because whatever, whatever. But I feel like there are some people that have the same excuse going for them. Like, I cannot understand. I'm like, okay, so like last week you were having trouble, so what happened this week?
this and the thing is that it's like it's 2024, so a lot of the excuses that people are, could use 10 years ago, that they're still trying to use today, aren't really relevant. Like, oh, I can't get there because, my partner took the car, or I can't get there because I don't have a ride. Okay. There's Uber, there's Lyfts, there's all of these things that are very readily available. And, we've seen you take Ubers and Lyfts places when you know you're going to be drinking. We've seen you do all these things over here, but you won't take an Uber or a Lyft to a literal job that you were hired to do. Like,
Boop, 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 boop.
there are, it's like, it is 2024, and it's like, I don't know, like, it's not like you have to call a taxi. Like, it's a very,
I mean, even they started getting apps, so
right. Like, it's a very different environment than it was like when I started drag. And,
also if
it used to be a thing. Like, if you didn't have a car, like,
I took
it
plenty of
could,
taxis to gigs.
like, if you like,
It
they're
was great, but
it's
it wa
it's not
it was very
awesome, but we've all
financially
fucking
heavy
done
for me.
it. Right. I mean, like, I remember taking, when when rats ate my fucking car, when I was still doing Spotlight. I remember taking the and I was at 43rd Avenue in Glendale, and I would take
Mm,
the bus to the light rail, and then the light rail down to, like, wherever I could, and then take the bus from there to the cash.
same.
Like, because that's what I had to do to be where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there. Like, I
Mhm.
hate the fucking bus. The public transport system in Phoenix is awful. Fucking terrible. It
I
is the
love it.
literally the worst public transit system I have ever been on in any part of the country. It is, and part of the world, actually, for that matter. It is shit. I hate it. But I did it because I
You
made a
made
commitment, and it
commitments.
was my responsibility to get there. Period. Period.
Parad. Parad.
And it's just, it's frustrating to see people with the same bad habits that they've had forever still getting booked, first of all, because I'm like,
But how?
you're gonna keep rewarding bad behavior for what reason? Like, because of, like, is it
Oh my
because of,
god,
like,
your face.
did, Dominic just realized they were there. Dominic and their wife were at the thing when Justin did this. So, um,
Oh, we'll talk about that on Patreon.
right. But I just, like, it's frustrating for someone like me who, if I'm booked for something, I give it 110% no matter what. Like,
Mhm.
if I have to do a number that I've done before, I will try to find something that I haven't done in a while. I will try to, like, either change up the costume or maybe change up the mix a little bit, do something a little bit new. I'm always there fucking early. I always turn in my music when it's supposed to be turned in. Like, I'm always doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And yet I keep watching people who are, number one, problematic. Number two, are late for
I'm still
things,
here.
bail on shit, are unprofessional. Um yes, Nicole, that would be Felicia's beeping. Um and all these other people that have all these fucking bad habits that they've had for years, but I still can't get fucking booked in this town.
Oh,
It's like, you know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I thought you were gonna change your fucking battery.
yeah. I never got there. It drove him to drinking.
It did. I should get my Dr. Pepper.
What I would also say is, I feel like a lot of people, since your business is on social media, it's almost like a resume. It's so telling when folks repeat habits, and then I become like the pattern observer, and I'm like, mm. I've even thought about it sometimes on this show. When we book guests, we haven't booked as many guests because I'm mm. Anyway. But the fact that sometimes we get those people that I keep seeing, like, oh, be on, I want to be on your show. I want to be on your show. I want to be on your show. And then all of a sudden I start seeing things like, oh, I didn't make it to so and so. And then
Mm.
oh gosh, I and and you're like, okay, either you're going through something in life and you need to take care of it. We address mental health plenty of times on this show. I feel like if you are in a spot and you feel like you can get to a spot where you stop and let go, give show directors enough time to let other people get in the groove. I did it recently because I changed my mind about something, and Freddy had to step in and be a fairy tale character. But uh, but I didn't do it like the day before, and Lord knows I would not. Um, and I tried to find my replacement before I did that.
I mean, that's fair. I guess, you didn't do it the day before, you didn't do it the day of, and you didn't just not show up, which happened the first year.
So that being said, like it happens to us, but also be the person that you are and be accountable, and be aware of like signs that you know that you're slipping, and be like, hey, so things didn't work out as planned. I may have overbooked myself. And most show directors are sometimes like, hey, I'm in my calendar right now. What's the next date you can be there?
Right.
And but I wouldn't make it a habit, because once it starts to become like a pattern or a habit, I like start to like, mm-mm.
You're welcome, Dominic. You're welcome.
But that, and to see some of the people that have been doing it for the last 20 years, uh, still doing it. Mm.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. And at some point, somebody's going
You're
to
doing
be like,
great. You're
oh,
doing great. You're doing
thank
great,
you.
sweetie.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're doing
Thank you so
great.
much. Thank you.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Apparently, I have not been paying attention. Oh boy, let's move on to the news because it looks heavy.
I got
It
some
is
shit.
some heavy stuff. Um, did you put what I think? Oh yeah, you did. We gotta talk about date. Okay. Let's see. The first one. Ah, the Bidens. They're such a classic family, aren't they? They're so great. Okay. Let's see. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, in case you were wondering, has federal gun charges. The case stems from a 2018 gun purchase where Biden lied on the application, stating he was not addicted to any illegal drugs, even though he was struggling with crack abuse. Um, that's a problem. According to witnesses, Biden would smoke as soon as he woke up, but but never in public. Mm, at least he had a little decency. Um, Here's the thing: if he lied on the purchase of the application, that's okay. I guess. No, it's not. But it could be interesting that folks, conservatives, ooh, are dying to have him convicted, but are ignoring the other issues about gun control. We just had the anniversary of like Sandy Hook,
Mm-hmm.
Columbine. So I don't know. But I bet you, because this is wonderful, the whole world is still astonished at this. But I bet you, if he was a Republican, they would have pushed all of this aside and they would have been like, you know what? You know what, Hunter? That is okay. Hunter, you know what? It's all right. It's
If he were a
fine.
Republican, they would be trying to deflect and, like, I don't
What
know,
about gay rights? It's Pride Month.
right. Right. They would be doing everything they possibly could to make sure that nobody was paying any attention to the fact that the president's son was struggling with a crack cocaine addiction. Like,
Hmm. Hmm. Um, oh, I love this point. If anything, it shines a bright light on the false stereotype that all crack addicts are poor Black folks. Mm.
Because if you remember, like, that was the Reagan's whole fucking thing when they were starting the whole, like, war on drugs. It was poor Black mothers and poor Black men who are crack addicts and crack whores and welfare moms and blah, 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 blah. It was always the poor Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind that it was,
And the
the
visuals.
right. That's all it was. Never mind that it was always the rich white elite that were getting probably more drugs than the low income neighborhoods. They were just getting better quality drugs. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
So it's fine. It's fine. The war on drugs, it continues. And yeah.
So
But speaking of continuing,
unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that Trump was found guilty on all 34 felony counts in the hush money case. What does this mean for the election? Exactly,
nothing.
jack shit. He's still allowed to run even if he ends up campaigning from fucking prison. And apparently, being a 34-time convicted felon is no big deal when it comes to being commander-in-chief of a
Oh my
military
God.
that won't let you in if you have even one felony on your record. But that's totally cool. Nobody seems to have a problem
Picture
with
this.
this. Uh,
Picture this. Barack Obama. 34 convictions. Would he have been president?
no fucking way. No fucking way.
I
If he
rest my
had
case.
one misdemeanor, if he had a fine for littering, the conservatives would have been all up in arms.
I bet you if they would have found an overdue library book, the country would have split. And everyone would have been like,
there's
look.
and we talked about that a little bit on like the Patreon in the last time, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous to me that and Trump can't vote, so he can't even vote for himself because now he's a felon, but he can run for president. There
Why
are
is that?
companies that will
Why is
not
this?
hire you if you have a felony on your record, but he's going to run for fucking president.
Why
If
is
he is
this?
going to be allowed to run for president, then it should be absolutely illegal for any company to say that they will not hire you because of a felony conviction.
But we're a country employing this person.
I'm not fucking employing him. Jesus fucking Christ. If I could, I would love nothing more than to put him in a fucking trash compactor. Like,
That's a
I
new
hate this
one.
country so much.
Can I have a shirt that says that?
I'm still going to vote for the brainworm.
Do your due diligence, folks. Get to the
Brainworm
polls.
2024.
Write in Mickey Mouse. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't
No.
do that. Be serious. Vote for the less of the two evils.
Brainworm.
I mean, if like Tupac ran for president, I guess. Well, that would have
I'm
never
like, who can
happened.
we write in that's not like, oh, no. You know who we decided needs to run? We decided this yesterday watching the Reading Rainbow documentary is we need to get LeVar Burton to run. Can we get LeVar Burton to run? Can we write in LeVar Burton? Can we collectively, like, as a country, just write in LeVar Burton?
Oh my gosh.
Like, if we could get everybody on board and just say, fuck Biden, fuck Trump, and write in LeVar Burton, do you think we could work this? Can we make that happen? I feel like...
How would this work? Is he ready to run a country? Does he have a birth
How is he
certificate?
any, like,
Does he have a
less
birth
ready to run a country
certificate?
than what we're already
Does he have a
dealing with?
birth certificate?
Like,
How
he
do we
knows how
know
to
he was
read,
born
so I guess
here?
that's a plus. He, like, knows how to speak well, so
He's a
he's
black
already
person
up
that
on,
can
like...
read?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, God.
I know. I don't know. What's next? Like...
And plus, he is
women
such a
have, like,
beautiful person.
votes and...
And He is too beautiful. What this country did to Barack Obama just was not right.
Okay,
Uh,
here's okay. What we need to do is we need to get like, can we start a petition to have like LeVar Burton and Michelle Obama like tag team this shit? Like, I feel like between the two of them, they could work some magic and
but I
really
told you
fix
Michelle
things.
Obama does not want anything to do with politics.
Michelle, we need you.
That may change later in life. Plus, she's not in the mood. She just lost her mother. So rest in peace. But yeah, we're going down the pooper. Plus, he is LeVar Burton. So cute with that gray.
Also, I'm gonna throw this out there. If you haven't watched the Reading Rainbow
Oh, I haven't yet. Don't you
documentary,
destroy it for me.
I'm not going to. But if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. Um,
I follow him on
I didn't
LinkedIn.
realize that Reading Rainbow was on the air for 26 years.
Hmm.
I had no idea because I don't have kids, so I
I
remember
watched
watching
that.
it in the
I watched.
80s.
I watched it like until like I was in high school.
Yeah, I wasn't here. So
Oh,
I
that's
watched
right.
it specifically
And
when
we
I
didn't have
was
Netflix back then.
little. No. Watched it when I was little. I remember it being I always struggled with a lot of the kids shows when I was
Hmm.
younger. I did not like Mr. Rogers. It was too slow. I was bored. I fucking hated it. I can appreciate Mr. Rogers now as an adult, like as a human and what he did, but I hated the fucking show. Drove me fucking nuts. Sesame Street I always liked, and Reading Rainbow because I was such a big reader, I always enjoyed. And I remember watching it when I was little, and I had no idea that it went for
Hmm.
26 years. That is insane. But it is a
Yeah.
brilliant documentary, and you need to go and watch it because it is really, really good. Really good.
He's also wonderful to follow on social media.
Hmm.
One of those
And
good people to follow.
his podcast, LeVar Burton Reads, is great.
Didn't it just have the season or the finale? So you can catch all the episodes. I thought that was one. Or is it
I
the
don't
other one?
remember.
Yes, two.
I don't.
Anyway, this became the LeVar Burton hour. We will gladly have him on our show. If
Oh my god, can we get LeVar Burton on here?
oh, I could work on that. Don't start with me. Um, let's see. More than a dozen pro-Palestinian protesters broke into and occupied the office of the president.
I guess the president of
Huh?
Stanford University. My bad.
Oh, okay. I was like, question mark.
My bad.
I was like,
Although the
this
president would
is
have
a
been even better, but it was the president of Stanford. My bad.
okay. Um, demanding devisement,
Divestment.
transparency, and amnesty. We demand things that only make sense, I guess. Um, One security officer was injured, and all the protesters were. Why'd you put such a big word right there? Were subsequently arrested.
Subsequently, it's not a big word.
I know.
Literally,
I wasn't expecting this
subsequently.
there. Oh my God,
Hi.
what is that? Anyway, LeVar Burton will never come on the show. Anyway, uh, so some of these protests are so funny because somebody was telling me like you should be able to do this on a college campus. I feel like, and I could be wrong, that when people protested in the 60s and 70s, that they too got in trouble, but I felt like they were more purposeful, more strategic. Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
I mean, no. I mean, there's a lot of parallels and a lot of similarities.
I feel like some of the colleges are being a little teeth in. Um, the students say We refuse to leave until Stanford administration and the Stanford Board of Trustees meet our demands and take action to address their role in enabling and profiting from the ongoing genocide in Gaza. And that's a statement from Liberate Stanford. Stanford admins and reps have said that they are open to peaceful protests when there is a differing in views. But the thing is, the protests up until now were peaceful. And when I was at USC, it's just going to be the theme for the season. You're welcome. And you all, I always miss the time. I always miss the time to even disable it. I can hit it with a broomstick. I've tried to knock it off. It's like pretty up there. So there you have it. You wouldn't be surprised what? To see similar actions taken around the country. Martin Luther King Jr. said that riots are the language of the unheard, and folks definitely are not being heard.
All the protests have been peaceful. That's the thing, is that they've all been peaceful, but they've still called in the cops and the fucking National Guard and all these things.
I think that's what I am thinking of. I think, like, are the colleges like overreacting?
The colleges are they're I mean, they're
Or do they have skin in the game?
I'm sure they all have skin in the game. They're all profit somehow from everything that's happening, because things get funding from, it's the fact that more isn't being done to stop the genocide, from
Also,
people on this
isn't there a
side.
clip? There's a clip of somebody talking about the genocide in Gaza, and President Biden is sitting behind them, and then he starts clapping. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I feel like I saw this like 2 or 3 times the other day, where somebody's talking about we need to stop what's going on overseas, basically, and then he's over there. And
cool. That's
you're like,
great.
wait, you're the reason,
Right.
like,
Yeah. I'm gonna skip down a little bit and stay on topic here. Israel's Minister of Defense has said that the assault on Gaza will not stop, regardless of any talks of ceasefire or hostage negotiations.
oh,
We are in a process of a continuous engagement to wear down the enemy. Any negotiations with the terrorist organization Hamas will only be conducted under fire, because that seems like a great way to go. So basically, it doesn't matter what negotiations are happening. It doesn't matter if there's any talks that are happening of ceasefire. Israel has said that they're still going to keep bombing regardless.
oh wow.
So for people that are wondering why these protests are happening and why people are very anti-Israel right now, this is exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're unwilling to stop the fucking genocide. Because they literally have said that their whole fucking point is to annihilate the entire
population.
Thank you, I was looking for the word, of Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck. By the time that they're willing to sit down and talk about like peace and ceasefires, there will be nothing left. And that's their goal.
Well, and all this craziness too, isn't there something going on in the Congo and somewhere else too?
The world is a fucking mess right now.
So, basically, I feel like we're all trying to destroy each other over a rock that will outlive all of us.
Yep. Squiggly lines on a piece of paper, essentially, is what this shit is all about. Literally what it is.
We're all gonna go extinct, and the Earth will still be spinning.
Yep. And no one is going to give two fucks about borders.
The dinosaurs might make a comeback, and they'll be like,
Please
"Oh
God,
God."
I'd be fine. You know what? We just need a fucking meteor, just another reset button, and then we'll start over, and then it'll be fine.
Only the people in bunkers will live, if that. Um, do you want me to go back to the other one?
It's up to you. We can stay on topic and then move back up.
Oh, I'm not following directions, obviously. At least 65 people, many women and children, were killed during an overnight, killed overnight, um, during an overnight Israeli airstrike of a residential neighborhood in Gaza.
Residential neighborhood. Residential neighborhood. But
You know,
it's fine.
so my parents were in the military and had just gotten out just before the Gulf War. Um, and I often, as a kid, not that you should think about this, but I'm an overthinker, so it makes sense. But I often thought, like, if things got out of hand and they needed to take my parents away, that something like this could have happened. Not that the Gulf War was of that nature, but I didn't know that at the time. Uh, but I was like thinking, like, oh gosh, like, what happens if they like bomb our neighborhood? I would hate to be in this situation. I mean, it could happen at any day, but um, like, I cannot imagine this happening and us being okay with it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it blows my mind that it keeps happening, and at this point, everything that comes out of Biden's mouth is just fluff and bullshit.
Mhm.
Like, we're still supplying them with weapons. We're still supplying them with all of this shit. It's fucking dumb. Um, and to stay one more thing on the topic, 700 inmates housed in an Israeli desert detention facility are being moved to Offer military facility after CNN reported on the deplorable conditions and repeated abuse, including things like continuous blindfolding and handcuffing, sometimes causing them to amputate a limb. Germany immediately
Ooh,
condemned the reported practices and is calling for a full investigation. Meanwhile, the US
Germany
says that the
is?
reports Germany. Meanwhile, the US says that the reports are concerning.
They're like the person at the meeting that hears like all the things that need to be done, and they're like, "Oh, uh-huh,
Concerning.
uh-huh."
But it's fine.
Yeah. Mm. It's kind of scary. Also, I believe that I saw online today that um, Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter, is using a company that is using. I have to get the facts on this and report back next week. But I believe they're using government IDs and photos that become property of a company in Israel that is working with X. Another reason why I'm not a verified person on there, um, and am thinking of leaving because I have other places to be and not supporting that. So I will do more research on that and get back to you. But somebody posted that earlier, and I was like, this cannot be true. And they kept sending me pictures, and I was like, oh God. Ugh. And all the politicians, somebody I'm sure is going to start a website or has started a website of all the politicians that have been supported um, by like uh, um, so
So
you
real quick,
know,
everybody, I have to jump off. Felicia's going to finish, but I will be back later for the after show. But I will Felicia's gonna take over the last like few minutes.
okay,
I'm so sorry guys, but I will see you later.
bye. Oh, Gosh, my face is so big on here. Can we back it up? Okay. um, let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back. The one thing that was on here. Let's see. If you were thinking about getting Pride gear at Target, maybe think again. Target has said that they won't be carrying any Pride gear or Pride merch in their stores, thanks to the loudmouth bigots from last year, who also uh, threatened people and put out notices that they were going to kill people and hurt people or harm them. Since Target is incapable of standing up for what's right, you probably should spend your money elsewhere. And since that's like a big old gay watering hole, I don't know. Like, hmm. I I was having a conversation with somebody the other day that I wasn't sure. Um, well, good for you. From time to time, I am there, especially in the $3 bins, which used to be dollar bins. Nothing's a dollar anymore. Um, but what was I saying? Yeah, other places than Target are available. Um, there are small businesses online that are run by queer people, LGBTQ plus people that own businesses that are selling pride apparel, that are selling things with sarcastic sayings on them that I may have purchased in the last month or so. But um, yeah, I would look for like the small queer owned businesses on like Etsy that may have pride gear. There may be people with websites that are already set up with that, that jazz. So sorry, Target, but you lost the business. But I fully encourage you to support small businesses. But with all that being said, um, when I find out companies are anti-LGBTQ, I don't give them my money. Yes. And sometimes I feel really bad when I find out too late, though. It makes me feel just awful that I've given them a cent, a nickel, or a dime to do so, to destroy us as people. But they're not going to do it very easily. There's always a battle going on. So, um, but yeah, I do the same thing, Laura, and it totally becomes like a thing though, because you're like that people support you from our community, so like, why the fuck are you doing this? So yeah, just so much going on in the world, so much. Ugh, I feel like I would love for people to be safe this Pride Month. Um, I know that some rulings of domestic terrorism have been called um, for people to be safe during Pride Month, because there are people that are just not happy with themselves, so they're going after our community. So be safe out there, travel in twos, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Um, Make sure you go places with people, couple up, whatever. So, yeah, can't believe that it's become that. Upcoming gigs. Um, Next week, not next week, on the 19th, I'll have that video that we talked about, the Juneteenth video for Drag Story Hour. We'll be debuting. Um, Follow Drag Story Hour AZ on socials to find out when it is airing. And then on the 19th, I will be at Drink Me Tea Room for Pride themed drag bingo. And then I'll be right back here on the 19th. Um, we'll have a show next week, which is the 12th. I don't know how to count. You're welcome. And then on the 20th, I will be with the meeting professionals of Arizona Sunbelt chapter for a Barbie themed drag bingo. It's just a week of drag bingo in 2 weeks. And then Friday, I have a corporate gig in the afternoon that is drag bingo. And then we are doing drag bingo and cats, which is sold out. Also, Drink Me Tea Room is sold out for Pride Bingo. So it's just going to be so much fun. A week full of drag bingo. I'm going to say bingo so many times. I'm going to say bingo, bingo. We have a bingo, bingo, bingo. Hand out prizes. And I'm going to have so much fun. So I hope to see you at some of those. I'm not sure if Freddy has anything in June, but I also will be in Winslow on June 28th for the Transmission drag show at Tom's Tavern on Friday the 28th at 6 p.m., I think. So, with all that being said, thanks for joining our Wednesday night conversation. Thanks for watching on the live. Thanks for commenting and commenting and commenting and commenting and spamming those comments. And watching on the replay. If you watch on the replay, let us know. We'd like to engage with you too. And with more than 15,000 views, plays, or downloads, thanks for listening onto the podcast as well. And we will see you for next week's conversation. Bye. Good night.